Hello, welcome to Now Academy. My name is Napoleon and in this video we'll be talking about Microsoft Word interface. It's going to be the third one on Microsoft Word interface. In previous video, we've been able to talk about the interface generally and a few of the bars. We started by talking about the meaning and how to launch Word, the bars, the tabs, the segments and tools, and then editing, saving, and general functions. But then we talked about the meaning in the first place. We talked about the launching, we talked about the bars, we mentioned a few of the bars, and then in the second video, we talked about another bar which had the tabs, which we started with the file tab. So you start with the file tab. So this is the third one, and we'll be talking about the home tab, which is one of the major tabs. We'll talk about the home tab, and then we'll talk about each of the segments under the home tab, just like we did in the file tab, and the tools within each segment as related. So basically, in this video, get ready to dig deep into the home tab, which is one of the major tabs. As a matter of fact, the initial tab when you open up Microsoft Word. I'm so happy because we're making progress. So basically, let's jump in without much ado and see what we have on the home tab. So I mouse over and click on my Microsoft Word document again on my desktop, and then voila, it opens up. So here we are inside my Microsoft Word interface again. Let's jump in and see how loaded this home tab is as promised. Moving on now to the home tab, it's by default Microsoft Word loads to the home tab for us to see those tools under the home tab. As usual, just like we saw under our file tab, where tools are arranged in segments from one segment to the other based on their relative use. So in this, under this home tab, we have our tools segmented. Also, if you can see this line right here, you can see this is marking one segment from the other, and then if you move forward, you see another line marking one segment from the other, like that till you get to the end of my screen. But then if you come here, you will see that there's a name beneath each segment. So the first segment we have is clipboard, the second segment here is font, and then the third segment is paragraph, style, and so on. Sometimes if you're not using the latest version of Word, just like I have here on my PC, you may not have all of these other ones, from this voice dictate to sensitivity editor and adding. Everything you will see on your screen will be 5 segments, which is clipboard, font, paragraph, style, and editing. But if you're using the latest Word version, you're most likely to see your screen exactly like this. Let's start with the first segment. The first segment, as you can see here, looks pale. It looks like most of the tools in it are not functional. And that's because we have nothing cut or copied yet. Now, starting with that, if we come down to the bottom of our document, now we don't need toolbar because we're talking about toolbar already, and each of the tools has a segment. So each of the tools will be under their own segment. So we're just going to go ahead and add our home to this place instead of toolbar. The first segment we have is our clipboard segment. The name clipboard itself describes the function of this tool. I'm sure some of us must have been to the hospital where we have our doctors or nurses carrying a hard card-like folder where they clip most of our documents or the details of our diagnosis or prognosis to. The name is just a combination of two things, a clip and a board. The clipboard has a function of keeping a copy of whatever had been cut or copied from our screen, from our document, to its own space. So basically, before the keyboard would have any content, it must have been detached or duplicated from a particular source, which most likely will be from our document. So let's go into the clipboard and see how it works. I will type all of the tools under my clipboard, so we'll use the names of those tools to see the functions of the clipboard. The first thing we can see there is paste, and the next thing is cut, followed by copy, and then we have format painter. Here are the 4 tools we have under clipboard. So quickly we're going to see how each of these tools function. Let's go ahead and first cut or copy something from our document so that our paste can be highlighted. If I mouse over this place, you can see a board, a clip at the top of that board, and then a document added to it. But here we have the board, we have a clip, we don't have a document added to it yet. Let's go ahead and add a document or a text or an information to our clipboard. So I'll just mouse over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and first highlight my format painter. If you don't know how to do highlighting, you can check the first video that talks about Microsoft Word interface. The link is right in the details of this video to understand what it means to highlight. Now I've highlighted my format painter. As soon as I highlight my format painter, notice what happens to this to this clipboard segment here, everything comes alive. The cut and copy comes alive immediately. You can see that my paste is still looking a bit pale. It's looking like it's not functional. If I come back here, let me unhighlight this text now. So you see it goes back, immediately goes back to the pale format it was earlier. So I'll go back there now and highlight my format painter again, and then my cut or copy comes up. There are two things we can do here. You can either cut the text or the document, or copy the text or the document. If we choose to cut the text, we detach it totally from our screen. If we choose to copy the text, then we make a duplicate of that text into our clipboard. Either cut or copy is going to help us have a copy of that text inside our clipboard. I'm first going to use the first option of cut. So I cut out my format painter as typed on the screen, and then my clipboard comes up alive. You can see my clipboard is now having a yellow line on the edges, showing that yes, my clipboard has a content now. I can just mouse over my document, place my cursor where I want my format painter to be pasted, and then go ahead and click on my paste, and then my format painter comes back. The same thing happens when I cut. Now that's for cut. The same thing happens when I copy the document, but in this case, I only make a copy of that document without detaching it away from the screen. And then I go ahead, put mouse over to the front of my format painter or the front of my ruler down here, give it a space, and then I say paste. So now I have a duplicate of my format painter that was formerly written here. I have a duplicate of it right here. If I had cut this one here, let's go back and see what cut can do to this format painter if we don't have to duplicate it. We just want it to leave this position and come down here. So I will delete this first and then go back to my format painter up here, cut it, bring my cursor down here, and then paste it. So in cut function, we detach the text totally away from its current position and paste it somewhere else. But with the copy function, we make a duplicate of that text and put the duplicate somewhere else. And don't forget, either we paste the duplicate of the text somewhere else, we still have it saved in our clipboard. So my paste function is still very much alive. I can decide to come down here, give it a space, and paste it again. I can also decide to come down here, mouse over down here, or hit enter on my keyboard to bring my text position indicator down here, and then click on paste again for me to have another copy of that format painter. Here is how the clipboard works. You can see just within the clipboard function alone, we have a whole lot of things to learn. So let's go ahead and clear all of these excesses out of our document because we don't need them. Let's cut our format painter again and put it in its right position. So the last tool here is our format painter itself for us to use. But before we get to use the format painter, and if you notice, all of this text has no format. They are all in the same format. No editing has been done on all of this text. But for us to learn with that format painter, we need to effect a change on some of this text and see how it turns out to be. If you notice, for each of the segments, we have an arrow down here to the bottom right corner of each segment, showing us that there are other tools available under this segment that couldn't fit into this space. So by clicking on that arrow down, it opens up the other tools we can actually have. So in real time, my clipboard space where each text that is either cut or copied, which is detached or duplicated respectively, will move into. So by clicking this arrow down, it opens up the space in which every text that is either cut or copied will be saved into. As you can see, this is my format painter, as copied or cut, as duplicated or detached. So if I go ahead and copy or cut my account here, for example, so I mouse over, highlight, and then I copy my account here, you can see it appear right inside my clipboard. So if I need to paste it anywhere, I can just come here and click on it as many times as I want it pasted, and I keep pasting until I stop clicking. So but then let's go ahead and take off all of these ones because they are not needed. So let's close this up by hitting this close button here, and then let's move into our font segment. So for our font segment, we have quite a number of tools that we must know about. So before we use our format painter, let's move straight into the next segment, which is a font segment, effect some few changes, and then use our format painter. So let's go down here and add up from the next segment. The next segment is font. As earlier said, each of the tools which is ribbon under each segment are arranged in relative function. all of the tools here affect only the font. It has nothing to do with the page itself. It affects only the font. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit all of the text inside our document with this font segment. So the first thing we want to talk about is our font style. This is called font style. And in most cases, most of these tools have their shortcuts. So we're going to add the shortcuts to them. So the first thing is font style. Let's add bracket to it. So what are the things inside our document we want to pick a new font for? The first thing that I want to pick a new font for is the title of this document, which is Microsoft Word Interface. I want to choose a new text for it. I need a big, bold text font that can serve the purpose, that can look like a theme. So I'm just going to mouse over down. I could use Arial Black, but I want to use the text font Impact. So I'm just going to type and Impact is going to show up. Mouse over and click on Impact, and my Microsoft Word Interface document is now bold, big, and visible above each and every text inside the document. Next to the right of that is the size of my font, which is font size. This might take some time because I would need to always come down here to add the names and the tools that we are working on. Ctrl Shift F is what we have here, so we're going to do Ctrl F is a shortcut to changing the font. For the sake of this shortcut, I'm going to have to bring down each of the tools, which is ribbon, under the font segment. So the next thing under the font segment is our font size. The shortcut key for the font size is Ctrl Shift P. Okay, but let's go ahead and see what we want to change the font size for. So I'm going to mouse over my Microsoft Word interface again, and then go ahead and increase the font size from 11 to 16. You see it's bigger than all of the text now. Now notice that as soon as I mouse over and I light my text, this dialog box shows up, showing me a number of changes I can effect on my text. Works exactly just like the customized to access toolbar, but in this case I don't think this one can be customized. It's just an access toolbar that has a list of tools that is readily available under our home tab that we can use, but bringing it here shows that we can quickly effect these changes to this particular text that's just been highlighted. And then let's see, are there other text we would like to change the font style and font sizes? Let's just keep up with this style first. When we're done with this Microsoft Word interface as an example, we'll go ahead and effect changes on all other text that we have as content inside our document. Moving on, we have next to it is the grow and shrink font. We can increase our font gradually, and we can reduce it gradually instead of having to come here and pick an exact size of text. If we're not sure of the size we want to use, we can just come here, highlight our text here, and say, okay, instead of me choosing directly from here, I don't know the size I want, I just want to increase gradually, as you can see, or I want to reduce gradually. So grow, I call this grow and shrink font. You can see it's increase font size and decrease font size. Ctrl Shift greater than sign and Ctrl Shift less than sign. So next to that is grow, stroke, shrink, which is increase and decrease font, which is Ctrl plus Shift plus greater than sign slash Ctrl plus Shift plus less than sign. Next to that is our case. Highlight our Microsoft Word interface again. Change the cases. As you can see, we have a list of cases here. We have sentence case, we have the sentence case, which our Microsoft Word interface is currently on. In the sentence case, only the first letter of the whole sentence has a capital letter, which is uppercase, while the rest are lowercase. But in the lowercase option, you have everything to be lowercase, including the M on the Microsoft. But as you can see, there's a red line automatically drawn underneath here, showing that our sentence is not correct. Let's go back there, mouse over it and click again and see the one we have with uppercase. Anything typed with uppercase totally is never underlined. Either or not the spelling is correct, it's still never going to be underlined. Let's see how that works. So with me typing Microsoft Word without my D making it Word, the system couldn't identify whether this is correct or not. That's the disadvantage using uppercase while typing in your document. You can go ahead and change some of your text to uppercase as you would have it after typing or when you're done with your document, in order to be sure that there are no typographical errors. Moving on now, let's highlight our Microsoft Word interface again as our prototype, and then let's go back to this cases and see I'll capitalize each word. If I use capitalize each word, each of the letters starting a word is now capitalized. Moving on there, we have another option to choose from, which is toggle case. In toggle case, the first letter of each word is in lowercase, making all of the words wrong. But as easy as you can get, you can just mouse over our undo button as earlier learned in the first video and go back to our capitalized each word case. For me, I would have loved that we leave this all in uppercase from the beginning to the end. The next tool here is to make it bold. Unfortunately, this font style has a naturally bold font style, so making it bold may not really have any effect. Let's go ahead and make it bold and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so the bold and the unbold has little or no difference from each other, but let's just keep it bold. When we get to other words, we'll see how our bold works. Based on the effect of what we want for this document, let's go ahead and see some of the things we may want to use all of these tools for. For the next tool here is called italic, and it's Ctrl plus I. Our bold function earlier is Ctrl plus B. We have something we're yet to talk about here before we go to our bold. Let's just add it. It's called clear all format. Clear all format. In clear all format, before we go to the bold, in clear all format, it's just a simple one. You can just mouse over this Microsoft Word and go to clear all format, and our Microsoft Word goes to its initial state. No font style, no font size, no grow or shrink effect that had been used on it, no upper or lower case that had been talked about earlier. Everything goes to the point 0 where it started from. Amazingly, we're just a click away in bringing all of that back by using our magical undo button. And then all our effect is back on our Microsoft Word interface. Moving on now, let's effect most of the changes brought about by the tools underneath the first line of tools under the font segment on other text, so we don't have to overuse them on just the Microsoft Word interface alone. So for each of the things I said we're going to talk about, we would make changes to them based on the next set of tools we're talking about. So the first thing here is bold. So we're just going to go ahead and make bold our launching Microsoft Word. Now this bold, the shortcut is Ctrl B. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that, and then the next thing which should be bolded is Microsoft Word interface. You can see my dialog box appears here, and I'll just use my bold from here instead of going up there. As soon as it's used here, it changes the effect itself all the way to this point. So the next thing is after the Microsoft Word interface, the next thing we're supposed to talk about is the bar. So we're supposed to have what we call a title bar here. So we're just going to make this Microsoft Word interface uppercase. I'm going to make it uppercase. I'm going to make launching Microsoft Word uppercase. Let's come here, uppercase. Our launching Microsoft Word is uppercase. Our Microsoft Word interface is uppercase, and then our title bar here is lowercase but is bold. And then the next bar is our tabs bar. So each of the bars will be made bold. Let me use my Ctrl B here. Each of the bars will be made bold. So let's go to our font segment. Under our font, after we have our clear all format, the next thing we have there is bold, and then the next thing we have there is italic. So we have underline, and then we have strike through, and then we have subscript, we have superscript. Okay, let's stop there for now. So we're going to make examples of these things. We're going to make our bold. Here is what we're going to do. We're going to make our bold bold. We're going to make our italic italic. We're going to underline our underline. We have an option of underlining with different kind of line. There's an arrow down just immediately after the underline tool that can help us change our lines to double, to thick line, to dotted line, to broken lines, to broken and dotted line, and then to wavy lines, and so on. But I would like to stick to these double lines. We're going to strike our strike through. So we're just going to effect those changes on each of them. Our superscript, we're going to superscript it. Mathematically, this is known as base and power. So let's assume we want to do 5 base 10. Let's assume we want to do 5 base 10. We type our 5 and type 10 at the same time. So I light the 10 and go ahead and put your subscript, or make it superscript. But we have subscript first. We are going to subscript our subscript. So let's sub the script itself. We're only going to sub the script to be like that, and we're going to super the script here. Voila. So you see now is sub and superscript, and next to that you see how the functions are done. Each of these functions are just for themselves. If you don't mouse over the superscript and take it off, it's going to superscript everything no matter what you type. So let's go back here and unsuperscript it. If there's any word like that. But moving on to the next one, you can see there is text effect and typography. This is typography, the same way we did to the others. Let's go here, click the arrow next to it, and then choose a good typography, which is a design. I think this is good. We're just going to effect all of these changes to our own document, as you can see. So let's hit our enter again and see what next we're going to do. The next two here is text highlight color. So is highlight color. So we're going to highlight our color. What do? I'm sure you can remember that. Just mouse over your text highlight color and clear all formatting, and our text is back to normal. So in order to put in our text highlight color, let's just go ahead here. Click the arrow down by the side of highlight color and go ahead and highlight our, let's give a little highlight here. I think this is fine. So this highlight color is for the text. You can see we are under font segment. So it's font for the text, the content of your document. Next we have a line is text color, which is font color. Let's hit enter and say font color. So what is the color of the font we want to use? Let's highlight our text and change the color to what's the best color we can use here? Blood. Yeah, this is blood, and what's red? So here we have our font color. Voila, we're done with our font segment. And with that, we can also come here and click and see the extra tools that we're unable to fit into this space. If you come down here, you see font. All of the tools we have up there are all here visibly. With extra tools, if you come to advanced, some of the things we have here are not even visible within this font segment. If you come here and click on advanced, you can see some other things that you can add to make your text look a lot better. So within this dialog box, we have a whole lot of tools to also talk about. An example of such tool is double strike through. Let's come here and see what double strike through may look like. In terms of doing the naira sign or any other sign that has double strike through on them, or that has just one strike through, or whatever strike through we have, you can see that within this dialog box alone, we have other functions. For example, let me cancel this and do something for you right now. I type N. A lot of people, I've seen people struggle to do the naira sign, so I'll just highlight this N after being typed. Come here and click on it, on this arrow to the bottom right corner of my screen, and go here and do double strike through. And here, the naira sign is done. If you keep your eye on this N right here, because the text I had earlier highlighted will be seen inside the space, you can see that the double strike through has now been effected on this N sign, making it an error sign. Let's go back into the dialog box and see if there's any other tool that is not visible within our font segment here that can be used. For example, the hidden. If I click on hidden, my N is gone. So N is right there, but it is hidden. And if I want my N to be visible again, I'll just come up here and click on this one, and then my N is back. But we're not done with our font segment here, so let's go back and continue with our document. So basically, the way it works, I'll go back down here, and then let's move now to the next segment, which is the paragraph segment. So the paragraph segment is only going to come immediately after our font color. So for our paragraph, let's change this back to black. We're using red. Let's change back to black, which is automatic. And then for each of the segments, we have it underlined. We have double underline under each of the segments. So this segment is paragraph. We're just going to mouse over it and then underline it double. Come here and change it to double. Okay, so instead of coming here to change it to double, let's go back and use our format painter. We were supposed to make use of this format painter earlier, but since we never had any format, now that we do have, we can just go back. I'll Control Z this one to remove the underline, and then I'll click out to have it outside. Let's go and see how we can format our painter. So this is the format for this font. It has underlines. We'll just mouse over this, and then we'll say we'll click on format painter to copy the format on this font, and then we'll go straight to our paragraph, highlight it, and then the format of that font has now been copied to this paragraph, and that is why this is called format painter. So is a tool or a function that paints the format of another text on the other text we want to look similar. That's done. Let's go and put our column. Let's have other things under this paragraph typed. We're going to have it underneath the paragraph. So the first thing under our paragraph is bullet. So we're going to bullet all of the tools under our paragraph. So bullet itself is going to be bulleted. So I'll just click on bullet, and then the first thing we have is bullet. If I hit enter, all of the tools are bulleted. I know we may not have gotten to the point where we need to do layout, but for the sake of this video, I want us to use a tool we are yet to get to. So the tool is under layout tab, but for the sake of this video, to make it a bit comprehensive, we'll just highlight everything here, and then we'll go to layout and split the columns in two. So we won't have two columns like that of a textbook. We can have it this way. Now let's make our text. Let's also reduce margin. We haven't gotten to that yet, but we've talked about it during the printing tool. We talked about it during the printing tool, so this shouldn't be new to us. Mouse over the margin and choose narrow margin. So now we have our text splitted into two places on our page, so we can have a comprehensive list. Now here we have bullet as the first thing under our. Let's go back to our home tab. Under our paragraph segment, we have bullet as the first thing, and then we have numbering. We can't have bullet and numbering used together. So now we have our text being underlined because we never took off the underline function. So let's just go ahead and remove this underline function. The next tool there is multi-level list. Multi-level list. So multi-level list. After our multi-level list, we have decrease or increase indent. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit this and put indent, and in bracket I'll put decrease / increase. There we have it. The next tool there is arrange our text, which is the next tool is sort. We want our text sorted, maybe in alphabetical order from A to Z or from Z to A in numbering order and the rest of them. So let's go ahead and use some of these tools we have just talked about. But let's put and next to that is our show hidden content. Next to that is show hidden content. I call this show hidden content. Don't forget, while trying to do our narrow sign, we have to hide the narrow sign by highlighting the narrow sign, clicking on the arrow to the bottom right corner of our font segment and hiding it this way. So let's hide this also. Let's hide the ruler again, click OK, and the ruler is hidden. Now if we want to review all of those things, we can just go back and click on this show hidden content. So our ruler is back, our narrow sign is back. We can go back and click this so that they can remain hidden. So then if we click on it and we come to it and remove the hidden sign, show them, and then we can go back here and hide them up again. So basically this is show hidden content. Let's go ahead and use some of these tools before we go to the next line of tools inside the paragraph segment. So see here now, we want to do something. Let's quickly edit our document with this line of tools. The first one is bulleting. This has been bulleted, so there's no point bulleting any of this again. Let's do numbering for each of the tools under our font segment. Let's go to our font segment, highlight all our font segment tools, from font style to font color. Let's number them. This is numbering. We can use any kind of numbering. We can use A, B, C, and D. We can use 1, 2, 3, and 4 like that. So let's use this in order to have our numbering this way. You can see our numbering is working as a tool. Now we want to use this multi-level numbering. Let's click on multi-level numbering and see what we can have. We have multi-level numbering, yada yada yada. So let launching Microsoft Word be number 1. Okay, let's put multi-level numbering. So this one. Yes, let's use this one. So this is number 1, and then this is number 2. This is number 2. Title bar will be number. So title bar is A, which is our title bar. So on the multi-level numbering, A is going to move this way. Now, in order for us to use this increase or reduce indent. We're just going to use the tools randomly here. So let's reduce indent for this one. You can see that reducing indent is bringing it back because it looks a bit too far. So this is number 2, and that's our A for number 2. Number 1 has no A because it's just one thing. So but we have different types of clicks, so let's make it A. Let's make this B. Let's make this C. I'm just doing this manually because there's a way we can just highlight everything and do it at once, but for us to really learn, you have to do it manually. And then the D is there. So that's our multi-level numbering, because this one is bold. That's why we have it this way. So basically, our title bar is the first thing. The next bar is tabs bar. So where is our tabs bar? So our tabs bar is going to be, if our title bar is first and our tabs bar is going to be the second thing, it's going to be number B, like that, on the number 2, right? So if that is our tabs bar, so each of our tabs would be our first tab is file tab, right? So our file tab would be let's look for another level. Right now we have that as a level, but let's go and use our Roman numerals. So we're just going to increase the indent. You can see what increase indent is showing us. We're going to increase all the indent for everything under the tabs. So for our file tab, we're going to increase the indent like that. And then this is our home tab. Our home tab should be Roman figure 2. Just go ahead and use your Roman figure again. You have it as Roman figure 2. It's double I, man. It's I. You see now? So for the, let's bring this down. Let's bring this down quickly. You can see our document is making a lot of sense now. Format painter. So this one here, we're going to increase the indent. Now let's do it together. Let's just increase it. Just all you need to do is highlight them to this point. Now let's reduce the size of our screen. Or let's just increase the size of our screen, sorry. And increase indent is right there. The font, reduce indent. This is all the tools under the font. Let's go back up a bit. Let's reduce the indent for this. It's a bit too far. I think we should change the font style for this font. So I'm going to go ahead and change the font style to Gibran. Let's use Gibran. Yeah. For our clipboard, we're going to change to Gibran also. We're just going to copy this format, use our format printer, print it on this clipboard. Voila. Let's bring this back a bit too. Let's reduce the indent for this one. I'm just trying to use all the tools for you to see how best they can work. So for each of the tools now, for each of the ribbon, we're going to use a bullet for each of the ribbon. We're going to use different bullets. So for the first one, we're using this bullet. For this one, we're using another type of bullet. We're using a different type of bullet for this ones. Let's use this bullet and increasing it just once. Okay, this is making a whole lot of sense. And then for the paragraph, let's use format painter also and paint on this guy paragraph. So we're going to use a different bullet for this one. The bullet is already there. So let's see what our document looks like in one piece. Under the tabs bar, we have file tab. Let our file tab reduce indent a bit. It's a bit too forward. So under our file tab, we have all of these tools. There are segments with our titles. What we can do with our file tab, I think, is a bit too forward for me, so I'm just going to take it back. These are the tools on the file tab, so we're just going to leave it this way, and we're going to use a different bullet for them. Let's use this type of bullet for them since they're sort of different. So let's also reduce the indent back to this point. So let's check on our list the tools we've been able to use. We've used our bullets, we've used our numbering, our multi-level numbering, our indent, and then the next thing is sort. But before we use the sort tool, let's go ahead and check one more of the multi-level numbering. Just one more of the multi-level numbering. So all of these things, let's just use this font as example first. All of these tools under the font, it looks so much and everything is occupying my space. I really want to keep a particular set of content in focus. So what do? Let's see the levels we've been able to get this through, and and see how we can separate each of these things. So the first thing here is launching Microsoft Word. Launching Microsoft Word is an article heading. Let's go and make this article heading. Let's say this is article heading. This is article 1. So under our article 1, I don't want to use the term article. I just want to use my launching Microsoft Word, and then this is my article 1. You can see it automatically creates article 2 for me. So this is a section 2.01. So this is section 2.02. So by default, my documents can be done this way, and then I can just come here. Now I want this to close up everything underneath my launching Microsoft Word. That is article 1, and this is article 2. I'm going to delete this article. I don't need the article, I just need the title. So this is launching Microsoft Word. This is Microsoft Word interface. So there are two major articles here now. Under my launching Microsoft Word, if you check, you see a small arrow pointing to the right. If I click on that arrow, point diagonally to the right again, and then opens up all of these things here, section by section. So this is section 1, this is section 1.02, this is section 1.03. as you can see, this is section 1.04, and so on. So I can decide to close up each section now, but for each of these sections we don't have much content underneath it, so there's nothing really to close up. But if I close up my first article, which is article 1, you can see it shows launching Microsoft Word. Everything about launching Microsoft Word is hidden under this arrow. So you can do a drop down to reveal it, and you can also do a close up of it. So basically, under the Microsoft Word interface, which is article 2, the Microsoft Word interface, which is article 2, you have section 1.05. So each of these contents are now sectionalized. So section 1.05 now is our title. So if I close up this, you see that the title bar is closed up. And the second section is the tabs bar. If I close up this tabs bar, every other thing is closed up. So here is everything inside our document, but there's more to do. Let's go back and open up our section 1.06. Now this is the first article. If you come here and check the multi-level numbering system, the first thing there is A, which is heading, and then it breaks it down into level by level. That makes it a lot easier for you to work with. So this is article, this is section for each article. So let's open the first article. Here is launching Microsoft Word. The second article is Microsoft Word interface. Under my second article, which is Microsoft Word interface, I have section 1.05. This is another section, but let's take out this section thing and just leave it as title bar. It makes a section in its own numbering, but I'll leave it as title bar. So for this one, I leave it as Microsoft Word interface, and for this one, I leave it as Microsoft Word, as launching of Microsoft Word. So now let me open up this title bar. Under my title bar, you see a whole lot of things. So now here we go. Let's close our home. If we close our home, everything is gone. So this is our home. So basically, let's close the file tab because we're done working with the file tab. Beneath our title bar, we have all of these Word logo, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, and then we have our tabs bar. So beneath our tabs bar, we have our file, home, and the rest of them. So let's just close up this tabs bar because we're not working on tabs bar right now. We have the content of our tabs bar reading from our file tab to our font, to our home tab, and then from our home tab. So then I would like us to break down our home tab to be underneath this tabs bar. Okay, here is what we can do. We can change different levels. As a matter of fact, the first thing here is launching Microsoft Word, which is level 1. Then Microsoft Word interface is also level 1, which is second in level 1. So let's just go ahead and say Microsoft Word interface. I close you up. Launching Microsoft Word closes up. Let me open Microsoft Word interface, which is also level 1. Under Microsoft Word interface, we have our title bar, which is level 2. So let's change title bar to level 2. Just mouse over here, click on the arrow down, and then change new level. So on new level, which is level 2, we're going to change it to bars. We're just going to change this to bars in order to separate our content. So we're going to change level 2 to bar. So this is title bar. So this is title bar. First inside it is title bar. So here we are. Just to make this work, just go ahead and close up all of these things now. So let me quickly explain how this works in few seconds. This is Microsoft Word interface. The first one is launching, which is separate from the interface entirely. So if under my launching, you have a couple of steps that you can take in launching Microsoft Word. Obviously, if I close that up, we have the Microsoft Word interface itself. Under the Microsoft Word interface, the first thing I told you we have is the bars. So for the bars, we have title bar first, which is the first one on top, and then the second bar is tabs bar. So this under the tabs bar, under the title bar, we have a lot of tools, which is ribbon, as you can see from the left, which is the first video we did. So everything under the title bar is all here: word logo, all the save, undo, redo, repeat, customize, yada yada yada, up to the end there. And then the next thing we have is the tabs bar. Under the tabs bar, we have the first tab, which is file tab. This is our file tab. And then if we close our tabs bar, we close our tabs bar up, you see that we can't see anything else. We'll open them up like this, and then the tabs bar here, we just drop it down, and then we have our tabs. The first tab we have is the file tab. The file tab, there's a T here, there's no T there. Is the file tab. Under the file tab, we have the home, yada yada yada, and everything. So let's close up the file tab and then go to the second one, which is the home tab. So what we have is the file tab and the home tab. So under the home tab, we have quite a number of tools, and then we have the segments. Here are the segments. If I wanted to do the segments to have another level, I'll just come here, mouse over the segment, highlight it, then I'll go to style. I know we haven't gotten to style yet, but I'll just go to style and use this particular one as heading. So for my heading, is going to look like that. Let me customize my heading. Let me make my heading look try and make my heading look cool. So that's how my heading is going to look. So that's my style for my heading. So for each and every of my heading, let's make it this is the clipboard, which is the first segment. Wow. So let's make it uppercase, and let's make the font OG brand like the other ones, and let's underline it. So for this one now, I can close it up, and then my clipboard is closed. So let's go back down. Let's open them up because it's closing all other segments. Let's just remove every other segment from under the clipboard. So I'll just come here and then I'll copy this format first. Let me copy this format. I'll say format printer. Then I'll come here, click on this. It's just going to copy the format, and then I'll go to paragraph again. Let me see. We have one more. Which is our font. So I'm just going to do format printer. Print it here. So you can see now that print the format on this one too. Print on this guy. Okay, so now you can see that on my screen I can literally see my file tab. Under my file tab, I have my home tab. See, my home tab is right here, my file tab is here. I can close up my clipboard. This is my clipboard here. This is my home tab. If I close all of my home tab, everything under my home tab is closed, including all of the segments. But I can choose to open my home tab up and close some of the segments that I'm not working on currently. So I can just come here and click on my clipboard. For example, I'm done working on this, so I'll just close it up. I'm done working on the fonts too. I'll just close it up. So the details I have on my screen right now is my paragraph. So everything here has been closed up. We're making best use of our style generally, and then our multi-level numbering. So ideally, I can create a document like this and send it to you without you having to scroll up and down. You can see the magic this can do without having to scroll up and down. You can have just a focus. You can have just a part of your document being focused on. So if you check back here, we still have a lot of other tools we're here to talk about. The alignment is there, everything underneath the paragraph segment is there. We've been able to use the style. We've been able to use the style segment extensively because that's the major reason why we have our document looking like this. So basically, we can change the font style, font sizes of all of these things and make them look better. We can change the color background, blah blah, and the rest. So let's go ahead and change. Let's make launching blue. I will make a Microsoft Word interface green. Go to the text color, font color. Let's have it for green. Come on, let's have it for green. And then the tabs bar, we're going to have a lighter green. We're going to have a much let's not do a lighter green. Let's do a deeper green. Okay, so for the file tab and the home tab, Under the home tab now, we can have just one glance at our document. We can see everything. So we've been able to use multi-level laundering, increase and decrease indent. Now let's go to sort. This sorting is more like a test for me, so I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to try and type the names of my babies in class, my students. So let me see if I can remember them according to the way they are seated. Okay, let me just give this a try. Let me just go ahead and type the names of my babies in class. Okay, so let me go by starting with confidence. Nana, my baby. Nana. Oh wow. I don't know if that's correct. And then Sonia. And then Joy, Sonia. Let me see. Who else is there? Who else is there? Angela. Marcus. I just put abbreviation Marcus Favor. I don't think I'll be able to remember everything if I have to go by this. Marcus Favor. I don't think I'll be able to remember everybody if I have to go like this. So let me go by the way they are seated. Okay, so let me go by the way they are seated. The first person there is Confidence, and then Kemi Sola. Okay, you see, that makes it a lot easy. Kemi Sola, and then you have Tomishe, and then you have. I'll just go ahead and type everybody's name. Tomishe, G. Hubert, Shadrach, Daniel, Precious, Sonia is here already. But now let me go and type Daniel, Ephidion, Daniel. You have Elizabeth. Right after Elizabeth, I have another Daniel. I have Daniel. I have Joseph. I have Victor. To the side, I have that's Victory. Akachi. I have the Big. I have Mira. Polito. I have Anna. I have Michael. Chris. I don't know your gift. Or I have Christopher. Next person is Aishat, Marcus Favor, Vivian, David Favor, Joseph, okay, Wisdom, Bernard, Samuel, Ezekiel. There's somebody between Prince, Gospower, So here is a list of all the names. I don't know, I'm not so certain. And if you don't have your name here, I'm so sorry. I can't think of anything right now. My brain is just blank. So basically, this is the list of names I want to work on with this function, which is sort. You can see here The name is called sort. You can arrange your content in terms of alphabetical order or numeric order. Okay, so based on alphabetical order, let's create a table. Let's insert a table. I know we haven't gotten to the function of insert yet, which is the next tab. But let's go ahead and do a function of insert tab here. So all we're going to do is to create a table for these names, and we're going to arrange them in alphabetical order. We're simply going to highlight this table straight. As you can see, the text, the names are arranged haphazardly in no particular direction or arrangement. But we want to use the sort tool. We want to use the sort tool to make sure this text, these names are arranged in alphabetical order. All we need to do is just mouse over it, highlight it, and go and then click on sort. And as soon as we click on sort, we have a dialog box popping out to ask how we want this thing arranged. So we say, okay, we want it arranged in this, we want just one column, and in that one column we say ascending order, and in paragraph text in ascending order. Sometimes if this was not on the table, it might have asked you how you want it arranged in alphabetical order. But let's do this first, and then we'll go take the table away and then do it again and see if our text, if this dialog box is going to give us an option of arranging in alphabetical order. But let's do this first. Let's just hit OK and see how the sort tool helps us arrange each of this name in alphabetical order, as you can see. So let's undo that. So here we have only text in this second option. Here we have only text in this second option, starting from here all the way, starting from this point all the way to this next page. So we're just going to go ahead and highlight this. That means everything has been highlighted up to this point, and then we'll go and click on our sort tool. And when the dialog box pops out, in this case, it's asking paragraph, headings, field. No, let's just leave it at paragraph, and then let's see what ascending order. We want it arranged in ascending order or descending order. Let's use descending order this time. Now that's how we flip the other way, away from the one on the table. So this is head row. We can hit here for other options. It's tab, columns, others, blah blah blah, and all of these settings. You can get to use this. We'll get to use this once we get to the insert tab. So let's just do what we have to do right now and move on. So as soon as I hit OK, you see my text sorted from alphabetical order in reverse. So this is from W to A now. So it's sorted this time in reverse. You can see Aisha is the last one. So basically that's how to use sort tool. So let's just take this off. I think this will be the excess for us. Let's just take this off and stay strictly to our normal text. But then let's go back. I think the layout has gone haywire. Let's go back and maintain our layout format. So let's just go back and arrange this in alphabetical order. I mouse over it and I highlight, and then don't forget we are on our home tab, and then we sort it. Trying to sort. I'm not trying to sort comments. Okay, so that is how to use our sort tool. Like I said, the next tool here is after show hidden content. We've talked about hidden content before, and hidden content is very simple. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this content as said by the tool itself. So it's called hidden content. So let's go ahead and hide this content by clicking on this one. Okay, this one is to make it show. So I'll just go here. The hiding tool is on the font segment. So if I hide this content right now, this content here, and hit OK, that means content is hidden. But if I need to see the hidden content, which is content itself in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and hit this show hide, and then content can be seen now, as you can see. So content can be seen now, and then I go back and hit it, and content can't be seen anymore. Now I need to make sure this is no longer hidden. All I need to do is mouse over, highlight it, and then go back here under font, click on this small diagonal arrow to the bottom left corner of my font segment, and then go back and uncheck. Now this was initially checked, so I'll just uncheck it, and then I'll click OK, and then it's no longer hidden. So basically that's that for hidden content. So I'll go back and click on this one to keep others that have been hidden. The next tool there we have is alignment. Alignment is the next thing. Now for alignment, we have a couple of things to talk about. We have left alignment, we have left, center, we have right, we have justify. It should correct itself. We have justify, and then after our justify, so these four are the alignments type we have. This alignment is just very simple. How do you want your text to appear? Do you want your text to be on the right side, in the middle, or on the left, or you want it to just be evenly distributed? Now, for this alignment, let's go and check. Let's make our alignment different in different cases. So for this alignment, I'm just going to hit my enter and make another line. So for each of them, we're going to try and align them differently. So for the left, let's keep it left the way it is. For the center, let's hit enter and then keep it in the center the way it should be for center alignment. For the right, let's make it right alignment the way it should be. Now for the justified, let's keep it justified the way it should be. So as you can see, no, I'm not trying to carry the two of you. Let's make justified. Now justified looks almost like left alignment, but if we had a bunch of text that can fill the whole of this document, then definitely it's going to come out adjusting itself based on the content you have, based on how occupying your content is, and make sure everything is evenly placed. Everything will be in line with each other, no matter how small or how much the text content looks like. So basically that's alignment for you. We can try that out much later when we have a full house document. As we proceed, we'll get to see such functions just like we have in others. So the next one here is paragraph. Lines and paragraphs spacing. So lines and paragraph spacing is the next one. Lines and paragraph spacing is the next one. So for these lines and paragraph spacing, I'm going to bring this down a bit. I'm going to bring paragraph down. Let's take this out. I'm going to bring spacing down also. So I'd like to use these three for the lines and paragraph spacing. Here I'll just mouse over, highlight, and then use this lines and paragraphs spacing. As you can see, there's a before and after. These are just readily made space that should be in between your lines. These are in between your lines, but alternatively you can use this add space before paragraph or add space after paragraph. So the space is determined by whether or not it is after or before. You want space to be before your paragraph, fine. If you want space to be after your paragraph, then it's cool also. But for me, I want to remove both of them. Now for this one, you can see justify at the top here, and you can see taskbar at the bottom here. If I add space after, you see the taskbar has gone down the more. And then if I remove space before, there was no paragraph here, so it may not be so active. But basically that's how it works. Just add space and remove space before or after paragraph. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some space in between our text here. Let's just stick at 2.0. I know this is not visible for most documents, but that's how we're going to have it for now. The next two is shading. So let's go ahead and bullet it. The next two is shading. So in shading, all we do with shading is don't now. Need I say here that in most cases people mix these two tools up. We have this shading for paragraph, and then we have this other shading for text highlighter. This is text highlighter. This one highlights only the text. This one highlights the text. So let's go and use it on shading. Let's use shading on shading and see what it looks like. So we want to shade this paragraph. You can see this is working on a particular paragraph. This is working on a particular paragraph. It's not talking about the text, it's talking about the paragraph. So, but in this case, we have it for text. This is for font alone. This one here under the font segment is for font alone. So we can choose to do it this way. So this shading is different from this other shading right here. And then the next two we have just to the right of that. You can see it's even shading the next text that is going to come up. So let's remove the shading from this one. Let's leave the shading to only that first one. So let's remove the shading, no color, and then no shading here. Come on, no color. So there's a fine line between shading of the paragraph and shading of the text background itself. So the next two here we have is lines. This is borders. The next two here we have is borders. As you can see, you can draw your border from anywhere. So let's put borders. So we can have our border like that. You can decide to draw borders. You can draw table, horizontal border, blah blah blah, right border. This is right border, as you can see here. You can add other borders as much as you wish. When we get to table, when we get to insert, we'll do much of these borders. Let's quickly check some of the tools that were unable to fit into our paragraph space by clicking again to the bottom right corner of this space. So as soon as we click that, you see a bunch of tools that may not be able to fit into this space as stored in this in this dialog box. So you have all of these tools right inside here, and you have some other things that couldn't fit into this space. Moving on now, the next thing we have is our style. We've used this style so much that we really don't have to talk about it anymore. But in the next one, it's going to be style. Style is the next thing we have as our segment. Don't forget, style is a segment, so it's going to look as much as our paragraph. So we're just going to come up here and copy format painter, and we're going to paint it on our style. We're just going to paint it on our style. What's this? Yeah. Format painter. So copy to our style, so easy. And as a matter of fact, we can come up here and use this as heading too. Now, instead of going to format painter, we can actually come here and choose heading, and then our format for this style will become like this. What we have under our style, we don't really have anything under the style. We just have a couple of things to switch our text into. You want to create your own style, you want to clear all formatting, you want to apply style. So we're just going to switch this and give some things that we might have under our style. Let's see, what do we do here? Okay, so let's bullet some of these things. As we can see, examples, list examples of styles, or template of styles. Style, let's use style templates. That's one. The next one we have there is create style, clear formatting, and apply style. Create style, clear formatting, and apply style. Okay, so that's all for style. That'll be all for style. And then for editing, no, so let's use editing. Editing is the next in line as far as segment is concerned. So let's quickly do editing. As usual, let's just over this, and then instead of using format painter in this case, I'll just come here and put editing, and I'll go here and choose a style. I'll go here and choose a style, which is heading. So that's my heading. So it's an heading. So, but in this case, it's going to number it like every other heading. Now, I'm not copying the format from this style text to this place yet. Now, what I'm going to do is to remove this A and keep it as heading. Don't forget it's the heading because it's going to have some other things underneath it that can be closed, like this one. So basically, for this editing, I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to copy the format for this style, format painter, and I'm going to paint it on this one. So basically, that's that for that. So let's open this up and put some things underneath it. What are the things we're going to put underneath these ones? What are the tools we have here? We have find, replace, select. Find, replace, select. So we have find, advanced, find, and go to. So let's come here. Let's bullet it. So we have find, we have replace, we have select. So here is what we have for this editing. Under editing, we have find, replace. Now what do we do with find? We can just find anything. Let's say I'm looking for confidence. I can just come here and say, oh, help me find confidence. What do you want to find? I want to look for confidence. And then I hit enter. Confidence shows up. I want to replace let me see, who can I replace here? No, I'm not replacing confidence. Anyway, you see confidence, replace with president. Oh yeah, that's my president. Anyway, you see confidence, replace with president. So find and replace replace. Anyway, you see confidence, just replace with president. So I hit that and then replace with president. For finished finding and replacing confidence with president. I'll just close this up. So check for where confidence used to be. Where's my president? Here's my president right here. Here's my president right here. But don't forget, this table was arranged in alphabetical order, so this is no longer alphabetical order. So right here is my president. here is my president. So let's go and close up this of this navigation bar, and then we have our editing. We can also select anything we want to select. The rest of the tools here are majorly not available on any older version of Microsoft Word. Now in this case, I'll hit enter. I'm just going to use some of these things for, let me quickly show you what this can do. Let me show you what this can do. So basically, I want to use this particular tool to explain the rest of the tools. Now, this tool here is to help you type by dictating, by typing what is being dictated or what is being said by you. So if I come over here and click, it will just take me, it will open up this small box here in order to make my mic work. So you see, the moment I start talking, it goes ahead to type the text, as you can see beneath here. It just goes ahead to type all of the text I'll be saying. And then the next thing after the voice is sensitivity. It's sensitive to a lot of things. So basically in my next video, I'll be starting with sensitivity, so you can get to see everything about sensitivity. So editor also is just basically editing, and then we go to add scene. You know what add scene is about. We talked about that earlier. We'll be talking more about it as soon as we get inside. So most of these tools appears on other tabs that we'll talk in depthly about. So as you can see, the more I talk, the more it types by itself. So you don't, in most cases, I wonder why people still go through the stress of typing things. You can just say it to the AI and it get it typed for you. So the way I'm doing this right now is the best way to do your typing. You don't really have to go through the stress of hitting your keyboard all the time. Let's go ahead and install the latest version of Word and have this microphone typing this way for you. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this video. So basically, in the next video, it's going to be a cooked up one for insert, because we have a lot of things to bring in. Most of us, in most cases, we find it difficult to bring in things like mathematical calculations. Too many things we will find difficult to bring into the Microsoft Word. But in the next video, you're going to have a bunch of things to bring in. Just anything you can imagine. If you're seeing this video right now, just go ahead and tell me the thing that is most difficult for you to bring in. And in the next video, I'm going to make sure we'll bring it in, and you're going to see how it's done. So basically, join me in the next video. And if you haven't done that yet, go ahead, like, follow, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so you stay updated as soon as the next video is posted. See you in the next video. Thank you.